Okay, so today I'm going to talk about The Umbrella Academy Season 1 and give a brief recap of Season 1. And I'm going to go a little bit into the comic books as well, as I read all 3 volumes that Jared Way has put out. I really like the comic books, although I think the show has done a remarkably better job. It is crazy how superior the show is to the comic books. And the comic books did leave off on a cliffhanger, so I really am hoping for volume 4, which supposedly is in the works, but you know, I feel like I should have said in the works. So shooting on a new camera, not sure why I look so pale and yellow. Something to fix later. Anyway, so obviously spoil warning for the show Season 1 for the comics, and a potential spoiler for Season 2, as I don't know what level they're going to continue to diverge from the source material or keep in line with the source material. So we shall see. Alright, so October 1st, 1989, 43 women gave birth to an unknown amount of children. Hint. Reason for spoiler warning. Okay, so of those children, Sir Reginald Hargreaves was able to obtain, he definitely bought them, 7 of these children, who are Luther, Diego, Allison, Klaus, 5, Ben, and Vanya. So around 1993, sometime when the kids are about 4 years old, Sir Reginald Hargreaves has Allison rumor Vanya to convince her that she's ordinary, which I feel like this whole thing could have been avoided if he'd have paid closer attention to semantics. She could have just rumored her to believe she didn't have powers. Obviously, or I shouldn't say obviously, if you don't know, in the comic books, all these characters are so much more powerful than they are in the show. In the show, it was kind of trying to ground their powers a lot more. I think that's the only kind, I guess I agree with that. I think they do that a lot with like Superman, you know, when you have someone who's so powerful. Oh, my camera's crooked too. Anyway, when you have someone who's so powerful, it's kind of hard to write a story about them because you kind of want to put them in a position where it seems hopeless, or, well, that's very common Western way of telling a story, particularly revolving around heroes. So, plus or minus that, we're doing another Phoenix saga, basically. Gotta tell your X-Men story, right? I don't know what they're gonna do with Sir Reginald Hargreaves in the ad for Season 2. He's shown to be there. I won't say what, I don't fully know his motive in the comic books. That's not totally revealed, but he's a lot more interesting, and he's a lot more cool in the comic books. Still kind of evil though. Anyway, I digress a lot, apologies. In 2002, about 17 years ago, when they would have been around 12 years old, the Umbrella Academy makes their debut appearance, and in the show, it's they're preventing the bank robbery. I don't know if that woman who was at the bank robbery and she was at the bowling alley and she was on the bus when Klaus time travels, she's got to be important, right? But I don't know what she is, and I don't think she was really revealed what she would be in the comic books either, so I don't know what the show is going to do with her. Interested to see how important she is. Anyway, in 2003, about 16 years, 4 months, and 2 weeks ago, number 5 time travels into the future and gets stuck there for about 45 years. So he ages from 13 years old to 58 years old, and then when he comes back, I'll get into that, because, you know, time travel. Anyway, he ends up working with the Handler. In the comic books, it's for an organization, I'm gonna butcher this, I'm just gonna write it. I'm gonna be smart. I'm writing it. He works for them, and that's gonna be, in the ad, you can see the guy with the head that's a fishbowl with the fish in it. That's who he works for. There isn't like a handler. She was introduced, I guess, just for the show, and I assume that she was meant to be the fishbowl guy, that they just didn't have enough left of the budget after doing that amazing job on Pogo. But anyway, I'm really excited to see that they got that fish head bowl guy. And he's obviously important for the second volume of the comic book known as Dallas, 11/22/63. If you get the reference, hopefully you do. Anyhow, I digress again. So in around 2006 or so, 13 years ago, I'm assuming that's the date, Ben somehow dies. We're not really sure how. And then sometime after this, the Umbrella Academy breaks up, and when they're all around 17 years old, they move out, except for, of course, Luther, who stays on. In 2012, about 7 years ago, Luther has an accident during a mission where he nearly dies, and to save him, Sir Reginald Hargreaves infuses him with the DNA of an ape, which causes him to undergo a physical transformation. I think it's a lot more interesting in the comic book. I like his design a little better, but given you have an actor doing this, I think they did a pretty good job for it in live action. And then in 2015, about 4 years ago, Sir Reginald Hargreaves sends Luther to the moon, and he remained there by himself. Poor boy. And then we get to present day, which was season 1, and that takes place between March 24th to April 1st, 2019. Yes, the end of the world, if you didn't notice, was on April 1st. That's hilarious. They get an applaud from me for doing that. I love the April Fool's joke of it all. Okay, so now we're going to get a little bit into the comic book aspect of it. Just a quickly to reiterate, possible spoilers for season 2. I don't know what they're going to use from the source material. So if you don't want to know, skip it. Maybe come back if you haven't read the comic books to see like what was different. Maybe I'll make another video. I don't know. Who knows? Quarantine life. Yay! Anyway, so the second volume of the Umbrella Academy is called Dallas, and it kind of revolves around Five and Allison going back in time with the fish head bowl guy. That's a great name. And they go back to assassinate Kennedy. This is how Allison gets her voice back. They give her voice back, and they essentially threaten Luther and Five, who are twins in the comic book. And so, of course, Allison loves Luther, so she doesn't want him to get hurt. So she ends up assassinating Kennedy by rumoring him. It's amazing. So Klaus is pretty much his arc in the show for season 1 is basically what it is in the comic books for season 2. He gets abducted by Cha-Cha and Hazel, who are so different in the comic books. And they're actually the people who destroy the planet in the second edition, or the second volume of the comic books, because Kennedy had given Hargreaves, since he lived past 63, had given Hargreaves, I think, nuclear weapons, and Cha-Cha and Hazel steal them and blow them up, or detonate them, I suppose would be the better way to phrase that. Yeah. Klaus's powers are so much cooler in the comic book. I really, 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 really love how he's portrayed in the show. Wouldn't change it at all, but it would be cool if maybe the characters gained the powers going more towards where they are in the comic books. That way we can see how they're kind of progressing, since they were in the first season really kind of stuck in this point of trauma from their childhood. It would be great to see them have more of an arc and maybe becoming more powerful. That'd be really cool if they did that. And then Vanya is alive, and she is kind of she's in recovery. She is in a very bad state, and and Allison is really really angry at her, which I think deservedly so, but also kind of not really cut and dry. I could definitely see people kind of going either way on whether or not Vanya deserves the hate or not. I think she was kind of annoying in the first season, but again, they're just doing their Phoenix Saga, so Phoenix Saga got a Phoenix Saga, am I right? I am not. Anyway, I am just gonna roll on into the third volume, which is called Hotel Oblivion. In the comic books, when they caught bad guys, they would put them in a place called After Space, which is a pocket dimension. And we didn't really see them fighting crime a lot in the TV show. There are a lot more mentions and flashbacks in the comics. So I don't know if they're gonna get into that, but I do think it'd be cool if they started doing like interdimensional travel. It gets really interesting. Anyway, so one of the children of one of the bad guys they caught ends up jailbreaking Hotel Oblivion, which is, kind of turns into like an Arkham Asylum sort of plot line. And then our heroes have to work together. It's really Diego pushing for the team to get back together, and he's really taken more of a leadership position in the comic books, while Luther is really depressed and kind of over it, and Allison and Vanya are bonding a lot more. And then Mom takes Vanya to Finland? Norway. And she meets other people who, it's not revealed who they are, but I'm pretty certain they're some of the other 43 children. So it's like, who? What? How? So many questions. And that's where the comic books leave off, which is why I want a season 4, because I need to know more of what happens. So again, I really hope that a lot more of this is incorporated. Obviously from the advertisements we can see that they're going back in time, so I'm assuming we're going to get more of like the Kennedy assassination, because that was obviously vital in the second volume of the comic books. I again hope that we start seeing more powers. I don't know if they're going to go that way or they're going to want to keep it more grounded. It looks like it's diverging more from the source material rather than keeping more in line with it, which I'm fine with. Like I said, they're doing such a good job on the show. I'm really excited to watch this. I guess I probably won't do a review of it because it's just going to be thumbs up, because I can already tell I'm going to like it. Anyway, I really hope you like it. Have you read the comics? What were your thoughts on them? What are your thoughts on them? If someone does ask me to do a review of something, either I will just comment on it or I'll make another video. Happy to do recommendations. Anyway, have a great everything, and stay safe. Bye.